Stories are embedded into every aspect of our lives. They go beyond what is written or spoken and take on forms unique to each sense, person, and object. There are stories hidden away in the corners of our minds, awoken with a familiar scent or newly written with the slight touch of a then stranger's hand. Stories exist out under the couch lying with the dust bunnies we always seem to miss when cleaning. They are the creases in the linens and the scuffs on our sneakers. There are so many stories that go on without us knowing, even ones we ourselves take part in. And it is the way these stories present themselves that has our attention. Narrative and format is our outlet to explore and discuss various stories and the way they are told. The topic of our first inspection is anime. You might not have thought we were going to talk about anime, but no, we are. Anime is this wonderful and sometimes bizarre medium that transforms the space around you, which is why we want to take a look at narratives through the format of anime. Some folks here probably know more about anime than we do, while for others it may be their first time learning about it. So whether you're an old-time fan who's grown up watching shows like Fist of the North Star, or you're still a bit green and wanting to know more, we hope you stick around and enjoy our video about the topic that we love dearly. Before we go jumping into any stories, let's start off with getting to know anime as a format. To be clear, the term anime, written in Japanese, would mean animated cartoon, and in Japan it is used to refer to all forms of animated drawings, regardless of their country of origin. However, in English, anime refers exclusively to animated works from Japan. Now, it's important to know that anime doesn't sit right at the forefront of pop culture in the West, and it's still considered to be a niche market. But right now, it's more popular than it's ever been, and those who are into it can easily spot its influence. Anime and cartoons have always been learning from one another, right from the very beginning. Anime dates all the way back to 1917, during the age of silent films, and started out as drawing and cutout animation based off of shorts from France and the US. At the time, the anime being produced, though noted for its high quality, was far pricier in terms of production and far lower in popularity in comparison to Disney. Anime had a rough start, but time saw the emergence of three artists, Oten Shimakawa, Junichi Kochi, and Seitaro Kitayama, who through their hard work and dedication to the field came to be known as the fathers of anime. For a time, anime found a home in productions for public relations and campaigns for public institutions, and in 1926, Ofuji Noboru's silent film The Thief of Bagura Castle gained praise and recognition worldwide, being the first to create a presence for anime outside Japan. However, not long after this, the war had reared its head and anime became a tool used to promote military ideals, and the first full-length anime film was a propaganda piece produced by the Navy and came out in 1945. Following the end of the war, Japan was occupied by the Allies, bringing along with it an influx of Western culture, creating an interesting space for cultural exchange and leading to several artistic explorations and movements in Japan. Most notably is the exchange between cartoons and comics and anime and manga. When looking at the history of anime, it would be quite hard to completely skip over manga. The two formats, uniquely their own, are undoubtedly historically intertwined. A large part of anime comes from manga adaptations, and in fact manga is one of Japan's most popular cultural exports. So please indulge me as we take a very brief detour into manga. Manga, simply put, are Japanese comics. They are generally printed in black and white with full-color prints reserved for special releases. If you are new to manga, the only real difference you should know before picking up a book is that manga is read from right to left, which is really only confusing if you try to read one without knowing this. In Japan, these works are published monthly or weekly through magazines, with one of the most well-known magazines being Weekly Shonen Jump, which has been in circulation since 1968. However, manga goes back much farther than that, with its origins cited as far back as the 12th and 13th centuries, and the first time the term manga was used was in 1798 to describe a picture book titled Shiji no Yukikai by Santo Kyoden. As well, an interesting note, the word manga is made up of two kanji, meaning whimsical or impromptu, and pictures. Truly speaking, manga is a format that deserves its own video, which we may end up doing in the future, so for now, let's get back on track with our conversation about anime. In our little timeline we have going, we stopped around the end of the Second World War, with a little cultural exchange happening in Japan. This exchange led the way for Osamu Tezuka to create one of Japan's most iconic characters ever, Astro Boy. Tezuka is known as the god of manga and is also the inventor of anime eyes, which are the distinct and large eye designs that are seen in both manga and anime. Now, Astro Boy started out as manga, but on January 1st, 1963, Fuji Television broadcasted the first episode of its anime adaptation, and it instantly became a success, creating a new space for anime amongst TV audiences. I think we can all imagine the merchandising that began to appear from this prize hit, and along with it, a surge in other anime and manga pieces in the same genre. With science fiction shows geared towards boys, there was also a surge in magic-powered girl stories made for female audiences. And in 1969, the first episode aired of what is now the longest-running anime series in history, Saze-san, created by Hasegawa Michiko. I think now is a good time to take a moment and talk about different audiences. I find one of the biggest misconceptions about anime is that it's for kids. Sure, Western cartoons are almost always marketed towards kids, but somewhere down the line Japan said no, anime is for everyone, and I'm personally glad they did. When looking at anime, or manga for that matter, there are different categories based on different age groups. The two most well-known categories are shonen and shoujo, the former being marketed towards boys up to 18 years of age, and the latter for girls of the same age range. From there, the categories get divided into subcategories. For the boys, there is seinen for the 18 to 30 year range, and seijin for grown-ups. For female audiences, there is Redekome and Josei, which are for women 18 years and older. For the little ones, there is Yoji and Kodomo for those learning to read kanji. Lastly, there is Shonen AI, also Yaoi, and Shoujo AI, also Yuri, which are stories with romantic relationships between either two male characters or two female characters. Now, I think there's one more genre to mention, but I can't remember it. So, moving on. The 80s was a time of renewal for anime. With a bump in the visual quality, anime was ready to take over the world, and with the direction of one Hayao Miyazaki, it came so much closer. In 1985, Miyazaki founded Studio Ghibli, which is a studio beloved by so many worldwide and needs almost no introduction. Miyazaki won the hearts of audiences around the world, as well as several awards, even winning an Oscar for Best Animated Feature in 2003 for the film Spirited Away. But Miyazaki isn't the only amazing director to come out of this generation. The world stage was also graced with Isao Takahata's Grave of the Fireflies, Katsuhiro Otomo's Akira, and Mamoru Ishii's Ghost in the Shell. And thanks to this amazing work, anime gained more and more of a presence internationally. And by the 90s, shows like Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, and One Piece were being shown in several countries. Since then, anime's popularity has grown immensely, and thanks to new technologies, it has also become more accessible than ever before. Now with our little history lesson over, we hope you enjoyed our first video and perhaps even learned a little something. We got lots of things lined up to talk about, so stay tuned and chat soon.